Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, English for Everyone. I'm your host, Tom. Today, we have a very special guest, Emily, who is here to share valuable insights on preparing for job interviews. Emily, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you, Tom. I'm excited to be here and discuss such an important topic. Preparing for job interviews is crucial for making a great impression and securing the job you want.
Absolutely. So, let's dive right in. Emily, could you start by telling us a bit about yourself and your experience with job interviews?
Sure, Tom. I've been working in human resources for over 10 years. During this time, I've conducted and participated in numerous job interviews across various industries. I've also trained many candidates on how to excel in interviews.
That's fantastic experience. For our listeners who might be new to job interviews, what are the basic steps to prepare for one?
Great question. To start, you should research the company and the role you're applying for. Understand their values, mission, and the job responsibilities. Next, prepare answers for common interview questions and practice them. Finally, make sure you have a professional outfit ready and know the location or virtual setup for the interview.
Let's talk about the first impression. How important is it to make a good first impression during an interview?
It's extremely important. The first impression sets the tone for the rest of the interview. Smile, offer a firm handshake, and make eye contact. Being polite and enthusiastic can help create a positive impression right from the start.
How should candidates introduce themselves at the beginning of an interview?
Start with a brief introduction of yourself, including your name and a quick summary of your professional background. For example, "Hi, I'm Emily Johnson. I have 5 years of experience in marketing and I'm passionate about creating engaging content." Keep it concise and relevant to the job.
What are some common questions candidates should expect during a job interview?
Common questions include, can you tell me about yourself? Why do you want to work here? What are your strengths and weaknesses? And why should we hire you? It's a good idea to prepare thoughtful answers for these questions.
How can candidates effectively answer the question, what are your strengths?
When discussing your strengths, choose qualities that are relevant to the job. For instance, if you're applying for a project management role, you might say, "One of my strengths is my organizational skills. I have successfully managed multiple projects simultaneously by setting clear goals and deadlines."
And how about the question, what are your weaknesses? What's the best way to approach this?
Be honest but strategic. Choose a real weakness that you're working to improve. For example, one of my weaknesses is public speaking. I've been taking courses and practicing to become more confident in presentations.
What strategies can candidates use to handle difficult questions during an interview?
Stay calm and take a moment to think before you answer. If you don't know the answer, it's okay to admit it and explain how you would approach finding a solution. For example, "I don't have experience with that specific software, but I am a quick learner and would be eager to get up to speed with it."
How important is it to ask questions during an interview?
Very important. Asking questions shows that you're interested in the role and have done your homework. You might ask about the team you'll be working with, the company culture, or opportunities for professional development.
What are some good questions to ask the interviewer?
Some good questions include, can you describe the day-to-day responsibilities of this role? How do you measure success for this position? And what are the next steps in the hiring process?
Can you give us some tips on how to follow up after an interview?
Absolutely. Send a thank you email within 24 hours of the interview. Express your appreciation for the opportunity, reiterate your interest in the position, and mention something specific you discussed during the interview. It helps keep you on the interviewer's mind.
How can candidates effectively prepare for a virtual interview?
Test your technology ahead of time to ensure everything works smoothly. Choose a quiet, well-lit space for the interview and dress professionally, even though it's virtual. Make sure to look at the camera when speaking, to create a more personal connection.
Emily, what are some common mistakes candidates make during interviews?
Common mistakes include being unprepared, speaking negatively about previous employers, and failing to ask questions. It's crucial to prepare thoroughly, stay positive, and engage with the interviewer.
What role does body language play in an interview?
Body language is very important. Maintain good posture, make eye contact, and use gestures to express enthusiasm. Avoid crossing your arms or looking disinterested, as these can give the wrong impression.
How can candidates demonstrate their problem-solving skills during an interview?
Share specific examples of challenges you've faced and how you addressed them. Use the STAR method, situation, task, action, result, to structure your answers clearly.
Can you explain the STAR method in more detail?
Certainly. The STAR method stands for situation, task, action, and result. Describe the situation you faced, the task you needed to accomplish, the actions you took, and the result of your efforts. This method helps you provide a structured and complete answer.
How should candidates handle questions about salary expectations?
Research industry standards for the role you're applying for before the interview. Provide a salary range based on this research and be prepared to discuss your expectations in relation to the responsibilities of the position.
What's the best way to discuss gaps in employment during an interview?
Be honest and straightforward. Explain the reason for the gap and what you did during that time, such as gaining new skills, volunteering, or other productive activities. Focus on how you're ready to re-enter the workforce and contribute.
How can candidates show they're a good fit for the company culture?
Research the company culture and align your answers with their values and work environment. Share examples of how your values and work style match those of the company.
What should candidates do if they don't understand a question during the interview?
Ask for clarification if you don't understand a question. It's better to get it right than to guess. You might say, "Could you please elaborate on that question? I want to make sure I answer it correctly."
How can candidates make sure they're answering questions effectively?
Listen carefully to the question and take a moment to organize your thoughts before answering. Make your answers clear and concise, and relate them to the job you're applying for.
Can you give us an example of a strong answer to the question, "Why do you want to work here?"
Sure. A strong answer might be, "I'm excited about the opportunity to work here because I admire your company's commitment to innovation and community service. My background in project management aligns well with the goals of your team, and I'm eager to contribute to your ongoing success."
How can candidates demonstrate their enthusiasm for the role?
Show genuine interest by discussing what excites you about the role and the company. Your enthusiasm should come through in your answers, body language, and questions.
What should candidates do if they're asked a question they weren't expecting?
Stay calm and take a moment to think. If needed, ask for a moment to gather your thoughts. It's okay to take a brief pause to ensure you provide a well-considered answer.
How can candidates prepare for questions about teamwork?
Think about past experiences where you worked as part of a team. Be ready to discuss specific examples of how you contributed to team goals, handled conflicts, and collaborated effectively.
What's the best way to address questions about your long-term career goals?
Connect your goals to the role you're applying for. Explain how the position fits into your career plans and how you see yourself growing within the company.
How should candidates handle questions about handling stress or pressure?
Share examples of how you've successfully managed stress in the past. Discuss techniques you use to stay focused and maintain performance under pressure.
What role does preparation play in handling unexpected questions?
Preparation helps you stay confident and think on your feet. By reviewing common interview questions and practicing your answers, you'll be better equipped to handle unexpected questions.
How can candidates effectively discuss their achievements?
Highlight specific accomplishments and use quantifiable results when possible. For example, I increased sales by 20% over 6 months by implementing a new marketing strategy. This shows your impact and effectiveness.
What are some ways to demonstrate problem-solving skills in an interview?
Provide clear examples of past problems you've solved. Describe the situation, your approach to solving it, and the outcome. This shows your ability to think critically and take action.
How can candidates convey their ability to adapt to change?
Share examples of how you've successfully adapted to changes in the past. Discuss any new skills you've learned or strategies you've used to handle changes effectively.
What's the best approach to discussing past job experiences?
Focus on your accomplishments and what you learned from each role. Highlight experiences that are relevant to the position you're applying for and demonstrate your growth over time.
How should candidates handle questions about their educational background?
Discuss how your education has prepared you for the role. Highlight relevant courses, projects, and skills gained that are applicable to the job.
What should candidates do if they're asked a question about their personal life?
Keep your answer professional and relevant to the job. Share information that highlights your skills, interests, or experiences that relate to the position.
How can candidates show their leadership skills during an interview?
Share examples of times when you took initiative or led a project. Discuss how you motivated others, managed resources, and achieved goals.
What's the best way to address questions about gaps in experience or skills?
Be honest about any gaps and explain how you're working to address them. Discuss any relevant training or experiences you've pursued to improve your skills.
How important is it to research the interviewer before the interview?
Researching the interviewer can be beneficial. It helps you understand their background and interests, which can help you tailor your responses and build a connection.
What's the best way to handle a situation where you're asked a question about a controversial topic?
Respond carefully and professionally. Stick to factual information and avoid expressing strong personal opinions. Focus on how you handle such topics in a respectful and objective manner.
How should candidates respond if they're asked about their work-life balance preferences?
Discuss your approach to work-life balance honestly and how you manage it effectively. Emphasize your commitment to meeting job responsibilities while maintaining a healthy balance.
What should candidates keep in mind when discussing their availability?
Be clear about your availability and any potential constraints. If you have flexibility, mention it. If there are limitations, discuss how you can still meet the job requirements.
How can candidates demonstrate their fit for a specific team?
Highlight experiences where you worked successfully in similar team environments. Discuss your ability to collaborate and contribute to team goals.
What are some tips for handling technical questions in an interview?
Prepare by reviewing relevant technical skills and concepts. If you're unsure about a question, explain your thought process and approach to solving the problem.
How should candidates discuss their professional development during an interview?
Talk about any ongoing education, certifications, or skills you're working on. Show your commitment to continuous improvement and how it benefits your professional growth.
What's the best way to discuss your approach to teamwork?
Provide examples of how you've worked effectively with others. Discuss your role in the team, how you handle conflicts, and how you contribute to achieving team goals.
How can candidates effectively prepare for case study questions?
Practice case studies relevant to the role. Focus on understanding the problem, analyzing the data, and presenting a clear and structured solution.
What should candidates do if they're asked about their hobbies or interests?
Share hobbies that reflect positive qualities or skills relevant to the job. For example, if you're applying for a leadership role, discussing your involvement in team sports could be a good example.
How can candidates convey their enthusiasm for the company's mission?
Research the company's mission and values. Discuss how they align with your personal values and how you're excited to contribute to their goals.
What's the best way to follow up if you don't hear back after the interview?
Send a polite follow-up email thanking the interviewer for the opportunity and expressing your continued interest in the position. Ask for an update on the hiring process.
Finally, Emily, what advice do you have for someone who's nervous about an upcoming interview?
Practice thoroughly to build confidence. Remember, interviews are a two-way street. You're also evaluating if the company is the right fit for you. Stay positive, prepare well, and believe in your abilities.
Thank you so much, Emily, for all these insightful tips and advice. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, Tom. It was great to share these tips, and I hope they help your listeners succeed in their job interviews.
To our listeners, we hope you found this episode helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and leave comments. Your feedback is important to us. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the English Speaking Podcast.